So how do we give ourselves self-care? It's something that we all need more of and that we don't place enough importance on. So I'm going to talk to you today has nothing to do with what you can find on Google, because self-care is a huge topic, and if you just type that into Google, you will get so much of the same kind of tips, tools, things to do. So no mention here of bubble baths or going for a walk, cooking a nice dinner, reading a book. Why? Because these are all externally focused approaches, and they all have their place, and they're all, you know, very much needed in our lives. But if you're on the inside really suffering and struggling with fear, self-doubt, even anxiety, negativity, all of these things are going to feel so much harder to put into place. Now, I used to have this all the time. Oh, just do something nice for yourself, chill out. And I thought, you know, all very well and good, but inside, I just didn't believe that I deserved these things. And guess what? Like, I would never stick to them. And these would be met with so much fear, and then even become something that I had to do. So it was another thing that I had to do and I should be doing. And it became a chore rather than a pleasure, which has the complete opposite effect of self-care. So what I'm going to discuss with you is a new way of looking at self-care, and this is self-care from the inside out. Okay? And I'm going to give you 2 tips today, one based on thinking and one based on feelings. And these things are to be included as part of your day-to-day routine, which will have the most effect. Okay? So they've got to be practiced and repeated over time. So the first one is self-care thinking. And I just want you to bear in mind what you're telling yourself becomes your reality. So we really got to start paying attention to our thoughts and the language that we're using and how we're talking to ourselves. So it's things like the next time, catch yourself out thinking, oh, I can't do that. I don't deserve that. These things will most likely then become your reality. So that's why it is so important that we've got to bring awareness to our thoughts, okay? And I'm not talking about swapping them from something negative to something overly positive in one go, because that's not going to work either. Your brain's not going to buy into that and believe what you're saying. So rather than going from I can't to I can, I'm amazing, I can totally do this, your brain's going to be thinking, like, I'm not so sure. And you won't be able to carry it out. I'm talking about little shifts over time. So something from I can't to I'm feeling really worried about this, but that's okay. Can you feel the difference in that? And this is like a process, slightly shifting along that scale from negative to positive to get your brain's buy-in. That's most important. Now, the second tip is on self-care feeling. And we've got to think about our minds as being split into 2. We've got our subconscious mind and we've got our conscious mind. Now, the thing is, they talk completely different languages. Your subconscious only understands feelings, whereas your conscious mind is all about thought, logic, reasoning, analyzing. So I don't know how many times you've tried to overcome something or you're struggling with something and you've got so much willpower and want and control and you've been analyzing your behavior and yet you still feel stuck. That's because it's your subconscious taking control and it has no bloody idea what you're talking about because it only understands feelings. So we've got to talk to it in the language it understands. So this little tip is just a 2-minute morning routine, okay? If you can find 2 minutes in your day, that's all I'm asking. So when you wake up in the morning, I just want you to close your eyes and just connect to a feeling that you would like to have to set the intention for the day. And again, I'm not talking about something overly positive because again, your brain's got to buy into it. So it can be things like, I want to feel calmer, more at ease, more content. Can you see? They're nothing too extreme. So once you've got that feeling, I want you to ask yourself, okay, if this feeling was somewhere in my body, where would it be? So we've got to give it a location. And then ask yourself, okay, if this feeling had a shape or a color, what would that be? So for example, I want to feel calmer, it's in my chest, and it's a round red circle. Once you've got that, focus on that feeling and do whatever you need to do to make it stronger and turn it up. So you could spread it. make the shape bigger, make the color brighter, and spend the 2 minutes really connecting to that feeling in your body and turning it up as high as you possibly can. Okay? Now, these 2 tips, I'm not going to lie to you, they take practice and repetition for them to be most effective. And I want you to start to think of them as like the self-care foundations you need for all that other stuff that you can find on Google and all the other information and advice out there to also have a really strong effect and for you to enjoy them, you know, and actually find the experience pleasurable rather than approaching it from a space of I have to do this, I should do this, or, you know, this is a bit of a chore. So let me know how you go with those 2 tips. Give them a try, have a little practice, and if you've got any questions or anything, please feel free to drop me an email or a message in the details below.